Students shocked after a rape on campus 7 months ago, giving their support to Essex University's campaign to stop sexual violence and harassment. All wanting zero tolerance, the message for the perpetrators was clear.
It ends now.
But not for this student. We've named her Rebecca.
I never expected him to force himself upon me and try to yank my clothing off of me. I kept saying no, and he wouldn't stop until I had to shout no.
A year on, a complaint that the university itself classed as attempted rape has yet to be fully investigated by them.
I feel that they've silenced it, and I don't think it's fair because victims have to be very strong to come forward about any sort of harassment or sexual assault or rape. What I thought was going to be dealt with promptly because there wasn't any police involvement. It's almost embarrassing because I had the strength to come forward and nothing's been done about it, and now I still have to see him a lot of the time on campus.
Now we can reveal that Rebecca is one of 4 students who've made serious sexual allegations, including rape and sharing an indecent photo against the same male student. The university has known about the other cases since last November, but still hasn't taken action. Whereas the police took just 7 months to jail Sultan Mohammed, he wasn't a student, but last October managed to walk onto campus and rape a student in her room as she slept. For any victim, it's their decision whether to report it to the police. Why didn't you go to the police?
The email that I got from the proctor at the university said, "Have you had any involvement with the police?" And he said, "If you have, then we can't take our investigation any further." So in my head I was thinking, I've done the correct thing, I haven't gone to the police, which means hopefully the university can deal with it.
38 students have complained of sexual harassment in the last year at Essex University. It says 1 in 5 haven't been dealt with fast enough. In comparison, the UEA had 47 sexual assault complaints last year. 23 students have been investigated. And Anglia Ruskin had 3 complaints. All have been dealt with by the police. Kafui Okpattah is an Essex University student studying to be a journalist. He was so shocked by what he'd heard, he started to investigate and brought his findings to us.
I interviewed one student who had been constantly harassed by her attacker, and there were even cases of attempted rape. The university took 1 year to deal with that. 1 year. That's not zero tolerance. And that's, yeah, it's heartbreaking, yeah.
The university says it's taken the BBC's investigation incredibly seriously and has reviewed its complaints policy. It will now be taking on extra staff. In a statement it says our zero tolerance policy means we always investigate cases thoroughly, although we believe we've responded appropriately. We accept the time it has taken to resolve some of these cases has left students in a very difficult position.
This whole thing has made me very depressed, and so I've got to keep up with this sort of strong, happy exterior, but underneath I'm very disappointed and let down because nothing's been done.
Rebecca and 2 other women have now been given a date to give evidence at a misconduct hearing. The university says the accused student won't be able to graduate until the matter has been resolved. Tubby, BBC Look East, Essex.
Well, earlier this afternoon I went to the university to put some of those points to the registrar, Bryn Morris, and asked him to mark the university for its performance.
We're really sorry that these students are disappointed in the experience that they've had of the university. We think we could and should have done better. I'm not sure I'd feel able to put a score on that, but absolutely we feel that we can do better in these areas, and we're fundamentally committed to ensuring that we do.
When some of the complainants made their complaint, they were given a face-to-face interview. An email was sent, but which didn't arrive, or they don't remember it arriving, but nothing else.
So we always try and support students who are making complaints. We introduced a new report.
You sent an email and nobody followed up to say, did you get the email? Nobody went round to say, listen, would you like some counselling? Nobody went round to say, now you've had time to think about it, do you want to go to the police? Nobody did any of those things. They just sent an email and left it.
So they didn't just send an email. The email was a follow-up to a face-to-face support discussion that had taken place with the individuals
And
to
then
ensure
nothing
that we
else.
were providing them
And then
with
nothing
the
else.
support that was necessary.
The allegation is they were asked whether they had contacted the police. There was no suggestion that they should contact the police. There was no offer of somebody to go with them to the police.
We expect all of our staff dealing with these issues to encourage students to raise them with the police if the allegation is something that might constitute a crime, to the extent that students want to be accompanied to crisis centres, then that's something that's a normal part of our student support arrangements.
I have to say these are allegations, but there are allegations against one person from 4 different people. Now, somewhere, somebody should have said, hang on, this is quite serious. This should come to the top of our pile. In fact, it took many months before it came to the top of somebody's pile.
Well, it's been receiving urgent attention since the point that formal complaints were made. The complaints that were received came in at different times.
Two of the formal complaints came in a year ago. Are you telling me that's urgent?
So the formal complaints came in in October, and we've been working.
Were in May last year.
And we've been working very hard to ensure that we can investigate them thoroughly.
In fact, nothing appeared to be happening until the BBC made inquiries about what was going on here. Are those two things linked?
No, they're not.
What do you say to those young women who are coming to university here and believe that they have been the victim of an attack, and yet they are face to face with the person they alleged is their attacker on a daily basis?
We have a range of measures that we can put in place to help individuals feel more confident in continuing with their studies while complaints are being investigated. That can include non-contact orders between the parties to a complaint.
No contact doesn't mean that they don't walk past each other when they're walking through the university. It doesn't mean that they sit down to have lunch in the canteen and that the person isn't sitting across the room.
So ensuring that the interests of victims really are central to the system that we have in place.
So how will you stop
that?
that?
Victims can ensure that they can have trust and confidence in the system that we have available is part of a major review that we're undertaking at the moment.
As far as the students are concerned involved in this, it has put a lot of mental strain on them. And I'm quite certain that their studies will have suffered as a result of this. Do you make allowances for that?
I've not been involved directly in the individual
Do you
case.
think the university should be doing
We'd
that?
absolutely want to ensure that these students were being supported in that way.
So if they go to somebody and say, look, this is what happened to me, my marks haven't been very good, you would expect the university to help and have an understanding view of that?
I would expect an understanding view to be taken.
Mr. Morris, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.